And welcome back to the Murdy Creative Co podcast. I'm your host, Kyle and Murdy, and today's topic is Shopify subscriptions. But first, I want to say thank you to everyone who supported the company so far. If you got a chance, go check us out on the web at murdycreative.co. That's M-U-R-D-Y, creative.co. Or you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias. The links are at the top of the website and the little icons there. Also, be sure to click on the Discord link to join our Discord server. We do all sorts of cool behind-the-scenes stuff there. We love to talk to you there. It's a great place to get in contact with us, and we love to see you guys there. Also, if you had a chance, go check out our Shopify collabs page by going to murdycreative.co/collab. You can become an affiliate and sell our product, essentially, and it can be a great way for you to make a little bit of money sharing a great product, and we really want to get that program really off the ground, so we'd love to have you help us with that. So today we're talking about Shopify subscriptions. In the last episode, I talked about the summer edition and all of the cool new tools that they're releasing, and one of the things I mentioned was the Shopify subscriptions things that they offer. Now, the tool itself is relatively simple, fundamentally. Excuse me. The tool itself is relatively simple fundamentally, and it's basically the kind of thing where you buy a product on our website that is got a reoccurring charge style follow-up. So you'd go to a product, let's say we had a subscription box. It'd be murdycreative.co. You'd go to the page that was selling the subscription box service, and it would say frequency, it would say the amount, and you could subscribe to that. In the future, you could pause, you could cancel the subscription at any point, all that other good stuff. So it's got that all built in, which is nice. But it's not exactly a complicated, capable type of thing. Now, we've been trying to figure out exactly what the best options would be for that Shopify subscription. Obviously, there's the basics, right? We can offer our products. We can offer products that we wouldn't necessarily expect customers to see or buy very often, things that they wouldn't necessarily maybe usually get, accessories, things like that. I don't really like that idea very much because I don't think it's interesting enough. And if you wouldn't have bought the product anyway, it's probably not something you're going to be interested in. So we really have to come up with a way to make the subscription box something special. Something that either you would buy if it were available on the website, but it's not available on the website, or something that is limited edition enough that it would have potential resale value if you were to sell it on eBay or somewhere else after the fact, even if you didn't want it. Maybe it's something like merch where it's not that, it wouldn't necessarily be that expensive if we sold it, but we don't sell it. And so we can kind of wrap complicated or a lot of things in together in a box. And it's really an interesting question moreover of what would be the best way to charge for this, right? I mean, for all I know, we could do something like moccasins or cowboy hats or whatever out of leather, right? For all I know, we could do more complicated bags, right? We could do something like a DOP kit, right? Or a travel case for toiletries, right? We've got a great world of things to make, but a lot of those things are a little more on the expensive side because of the nature of the product. And so if we were to say that we were going to have a Shopify subscription-based product, right, on our website that you could buy over and over and over, that would be something that'd be a reoccurring charge. How do we make that offering interesting to you without having to tell you everything about it before we even know what it might be about? If that makes any sense. Now, there's a couple of companies out there that are already doing some great stuff, right? We didn't invent the world of subscription marketing. In fact, the subscription box has been around for a better part of a decade or longer. And for us, it's kind of what's the best model for us, right? So one option is this. We would go with kind of one of the other major brands. Man Crates has been very famous for this for a while, where they don't just have one product from one company. They would provide a lot of different products from a lot of different companies of all the same kind of stripe. Right, so for us, we could offer a Murdy Creative Co box that doesn't just have Murdy Creative Co products, but has got other affiliated similar products from other small businesses, right? That would be an interesting way to do that. It's a little more complicated and it relies a little bit more on outside third-party companies to supply us with inventory, and that's obviously got its own challenges. But it could work, and it would be a way to offer something that we wouldn't necessarily sell on our website otherwise, right? You could get something in that box that would be a complementary product or a similar product, but we wouldn't necessarily sell those on the website regularly. Another option would be for us to have a box where it's a low monthly fee, but it's you get a box every quarter. And because of the way that would be set up, we could do a rather inexpensive monthly fee with a large, valuable item as part of the box, right? Because the alternative would be for us to charge a lot of money and have it be a very expensive box every time. And I think that's going to be challenging for a lot of people. We could, rather than do a box with a lot of third-party stuff, we could do a box where we make limited runs of limited things, right? And I think that that's something where there's cool opportunities for us as a company to try products out. We have an X-Carve in-house, which allows us to make things out of metal and wood, and we haven't done that yet because, well, to be honest, it's kind of complicated. And realistically, there's a learning curve with all of these equipment where it makes it challenging for us to produce them regularly, right? So if we had a product that was a wood product, I personally have struggled to get the X-Carve to be able to reliably and predictably work the way it's supposed to. I can get it to work, just not the way I'd like it to. So if we were to do a limited edition type thing in the boxes, that would actually work out relatively well for the X-Carve. Because, for example, if we said, okay, we're making 50 of these for the next round of boxes, well, I can make the X-Carve work for 50. I don't know if I can make it work every day for all of them all the time. And so that would allow for us to do some sort of unique custom things like that. There's other options in that same kind of vein where we could try products in the boxes that would be things that wouldn't necessarily be what you'd think of, but would be cool. And if they sold really well, if the boxes were really popular, they might be an interesting thing for us to get some feedback on, and maybe we do start to include them in the regular products. We have a box frequency problem where if we say, okay, we're going to do this monthly, right? Does it bring in monthly money? Yeah, that's great. But on the flip side, monthly might be too frequent for some customers. And moreover, it requires us to come up with new things every month, which, not that we don't love coming up with new things, but it's a task. You know, if you're a third party that all you ever do is come up with subscription boxes, it's a little more of a part of your process, but we do other things here. We make product on a day-to-day basis. So having it so that every month we come up with a new thing could be such a demanding challenge that it would require us to hire more people just to cope with that, right? And I don't know if the box service would really be able to support that. I don't expect this box service to become, enormous. I expect it to generate maybe a handful of sales a month as part of the subscription service, and that would be all I'd really need it to do. Another option that would be a simple one would be merch, right? Sweatshirts, hats, coats even, sweat t-shirts, things like that. And we could do merch as part of the box as mix and match for other boxes. We could do it as part of the box, as the first box, we could have it be some merch, right? Things like that where, for example, maybe your first box is always a merch box, and then the next boxes are something else, right? There's other options that we can talk about with our tannery where there's different color leathers that we could do as limited edition runs. There's different patterns. Alligator and Python are two that we've had on the website before, but there's plenty others. Great options. Would be a fun way to test out different things like that. And so you begin to see that the challenge with the subscription box is that it could be a lot of different things. And without a strong identity behind the why of the box, what the box is, what it's about, I'm struggling to come up with a direction that I think is a good one. In the end, the box has to meet a couple of basic criteria. One, it's got to be something that can actually be reliably produced. It has to be something that can be produced in a way that's relatively cost efficient, although it doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be something where it's not going to bankrupt us to make the boxes for a specific month. It's got to be produced in a way that is fair, or at least fair enough that people don't feel like they signed up at the wrong time and they got the wrong box. It's got to be done in a way where if we did something that was really cool in a box, and we would be able to do it in the larger company so as not to make it so that it was so that we wouldn't want to put our best idea in a box and then not be able to actually sell that on our website for any specific reason, right? And it's got to be something that people can afford, will buy, and are able to justify once they receive it that it was a good purchase. There's a lot of criterias. And for us, it's a hard needle to thread. And I'm struggling. That's why we haven't done it. It's funny. It's because this is kind of the same reason we haven't done it in the past, right? And I'd love to hear from you guys. I want to know. I mean, one of the things that we talked about when I talked about the additions was that we now have the Shopify forms, which allows us to build out surveys and things like that and offer something for them. And I'd like to do that. Obviously, we can reach out to the people on our Discord, and we will, and we have a little bit, but the hope is that we can figure out a process of getting some information from you guys on what you'd like to see. So the question is this: if your mind could wander free thinking about what a box from the Murdy Creative Company could look like. What do you think of, right? What do you think would be something that'd be really cool? Would it be part of our regular lineup, but because of the way the box was structured, you'd get a great discount on all of them, right? For example, maybe the box costs, I'm picking a number randomly, $75, but it always has $100 worth of retail product in it. Would it be something where perhaps the box is something specifically designed around the fact that each time the box has something that's our regular lineup, but it's in a color that we don't sell otherwise, something that's not part of our regular 5 colors? What if it's a merch box, right? Would you want a merch box with Murdy Creative Co. merchandise, right? And if so, what would that look like, right? Are we talking hats, shirts, t-shirts? Talking about mugs? We talking about, what would you be thinking about, right? If you wanted that. Would you want to see what the Murdy Creative Company can do beyond leather? Would that be something you're interested in? Right? So the box would be something where it's not just leather products from the Murdy Creative Company, but maybe it's something out of wood or metal. Would you want to see something that was really expensive and you'd be willing to pay more for a box like that? Right? What if it was duffel bags or custom hats? And I'm talking like custom cowboy Indiana Jones style hats or moccasins or boots, right? Shoes. Would you want to see something like that? Is there something else I'm missing, right? Is there something beyond that you think would be a really cool box? And if you've got an idea of what a box could look like, the question is there a cohesive enough theme behind the box and the box that you've built that it could be done over and over and over again into the future? Because the hope would be that we could develop a box that would be something that people would subscribe to for a long time, right? The big point of this is not to create just a grab bag, not just a mystery box, but it's to create something that people will subscribe to and will get for years on end and will enjoy them every time and will think that they're very cool every time, right? So is there a cohesive strategy to that? And I don't know. So I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think would be the best version of the Murdy Creative Co. subscription box if we were to make one? Do you think it even fits within our brand identity? Do you think it detracts from the brand, benefits the brand? I'd love to hear more. Feel free to either leave us a comment below on YouTube or send us an email, salas@murdycreative.co, or you can send us a message on the main page of our website, the contact form there. Please reach out to us. I want to hear your feedback on this one especially. Reach out to us on our Discord if you join us there. We really do want to hear from you about this because this is a topic where I don't have a good answer yet, and some feedback could help. So for those of you who've been fans for a while, for those of you who've potentially bought product from us in the past and love it and think about it a lot, what would you think would be the best way to do this? All right, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Be sure to check back in on Thursday for that next topic. And don't forget to check that subscribe button as well as the notification bell to get notified whenever we launch a new episode. If you have any questions or concerns about any of the product that we sell, please feel free to reach out to us on the main page of our website at murdycreative.co. That's MURDY creative.co. You can also send us an email directly at sales.murdycreative.co, sales@murdycreative.co. You can give us a phone call at 414-434-9001. You can also text us at that number as well, 414-434-9001. We're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. We are happy to help. If you have any issues whatsoever with your product, if you have any questions for us, we do want to help. We are here to help. If for whatever reason we don't answer the phone, please do feel free to leave us a voicemail and we will get back to you as soon as possible. If you think we deserve it, a good review can go a long way to help us grow our new community. Both a review on whatever podcast app you're listening on, as well as a review on the product if you have one. You can go to murdycreative.co/reviews to read all of our amazing reviews. You can also go to murdycreative.co/review to leave us a review. Right now, they all go to Google, and that helps our SEO if you leave us a review there, so we really appreciate those who do. If you got questions about a product specifically, and the reviews aren't helping, and the product description on the website isn't helping, you can ask us and we can work on providing photos or other things like that, right? There's a lot of unique things about leather that we want to be able to help you answer if you've got questions. So please check that out. If you got podcast topics, we would love for you to send them to us. I'm always trying to figure out what to talk about, and I want to get your guys' feedback. So if you have specific topics you want to know more about, send them my way. I'm always happy to talk about them. If you're looking for multiple items for gifts, giveaways, menus, really any reason, we have bulk discounts built directly into the cart. All you need to do is add whatever items that you would like to your cart, and it will automatically apply the appropriate bulk discount in the cart itself. So you no longer have to hit checkout to see the discount. You can see it right there in the cart. The minimum order discount quality for the bulk orders is 5, and it's mix and match. So it can be 5 of one thing, or it can be 1 of 5 things to get that first tier, and then it goes up from there. So add everything to your cart, check that out, get some information on that. We would love to help you with a bulk order if you have questions. You can also get a custom engraved item with no minimum order quantities and no setup fees. It's a simple flat fee of about $15, and you can get just one of something like that. You can go to murdycreative.co, go to any of the product pages, and you see the blue button that says Launch Customizer or Add Custom Engraving. I can't remember what we called it. You click on that blue button, it'll launch the customizer. Be sure to click into the circle with the exclamation point. That is the variation. When you go open up the customizer, it doesn't remember all of the selections you'd made prior to about the color and the insert. So you need to go into that section on the product variations where there's an exclamation point with a circle. And from there, you can select Americano or Bourbon or one of our other colors, and you can select the insert and so on and so forth. You can build it there. You can upload a logo. You can add all sorts of custom text all over the place, and then you can hit Add to Cart, and it'll add the cart exactly as you've created it. We use that specific thing when we produce it, so there's no editing on our end for that. If for whatever reason we think that it's poor quality or there's something going wrong, we will reach out to you for clarification. Please note we cannot do copyright images unless you have permission, and that does include U.S. military logos, anything made by Disney or anything along those lines. They all have pretty strong copyright protections. So for anything like that, unfortunately, we can't do it unless you have written permission. So please reach out to us if you have questions about that. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and goodbye.